This is the old train carriage that I'm turning into a tiny home. Before I design anything, I'm going to do a site analysis. This involves identifying what's already here. Down the slope to the north, we have the tree zoo. Up the slope to the south of the dam. To the east, there's the sheep run, the olive grove, and the old shearing shed. And to the west, there's the old farm fences, the external road, the boundary, and some access gates that lead onto the property. I've also drawn out some natural paths that aren't paved, but are commonly used by myself by foot and by car. Now, light. Good design starts with knowing where the light is and when. On the winter solstice, the sun rises at 58 degrees east by northeast and sets 302 degrees west by northwest. The train carriage is in full sun for most of the middle of the day. However, due to the hills to the east and the hills to the west, as well as some evergreen trees to the west, the train carriage is in shade just after sunrise and just before sunset. On the summer solstice, the sun rises at 122 degrees east by southeast and sets at 238 degrees west by southwest. The hills to the east cast shadow over the train carriage just after sunrise, and the hills to the west cast shadow over the train carriage just before sunset. Overall, some key observations. The train carriage receives full sun for most of the day, with the exceptions being the end and the start of the day. The other exception is in winter afternoons when the sun is lower in the sky and two northwestern trees cast shadow over the train carriage. Also during the winter, the low angle of the sun means that the train carriage casts its own shadow behind itself to the south. This will be particularly relevant when I start designing the landscape. Follow along as I turn this train carriage into a tiny home.